AskReddit has hit 25 million subscribers. Insert party parrots here.
Starbuck was a famous Canadian bull, whose genome was so desirable that his sperm sold for $25 million during his life, and he has more than 200,000 daughters.
The population of Australia is listed as 24,898,152 by the UN in 2019. So there are more AskRedditors than Australians.
There are, on a standard, 3x3 Rubik's Cube, 43 quintillion 252 quadrillion 3,274,489,856,000 possible combinations, or 43.2 quintillion. Every single combination is different from the last, only one is solved. Edit, thanks for the silver award, good sir.
If I had 25 million euros, I would still be here, but with a better screen.
To the bar, everyone. The first 25 million beers are on me.
More so small, but there is a 1/100,000,000,000,000,000 chance of having your doppelganger with all 8 of your distinctive facial features walking around on Earth. Only a 1/135 chance that a complete pair of doppelgangers exists somewhere in the world.
25 million and I still can't get my questions to hot.
Which book should a depressed person absolutely have to read?
A Street Cat Named Bob from James Bowen. It's an autobiography from a drug addict who gets clean with the help of a cat he had adopted.
Furiously Happy or Let's Pretend This Never Happened by Jenny Lawson. Got me through bouts of terrible depression and a miscarriage.
Hyperbole and a half. Hilarious and personal. One of the few books that have made me laugh out loud as well as cry.
Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Just a man's thoughts on how to better himself. Never meant for publication.
Start a long series. If you get hooked on it, it gives you something to look forward to, a lifeline to hold when things get rough.
Winnie the Pooh. Some kids are messed up at an early age. I was one of them. Pooh, and Rabbit, and especially Eeyore were cool friends with massive faults. I learned from these books it was okay not to be like the others. Definite read.
Guards. Guards. By Terry Pratchett is a fantasy satire. Think Douglas Adams, that is very funny and thought-provoking. The Way of Kings, by Brandon Sanderson, is a fantasy epic about broken people doing great things.
What movie is 10 tenths but hardly anyone has seen it?
Dead Man's Shoes. It's a British film which sees a soldier return to his depressing hometown where his younger brother was exploited and bullied by a gang of pathetic drug dealers. It's a masterpiece on how intimidation can be presented. Watch it.
Murder by Death, a Neil Simon film. Amazing cast, great concept. Fucking hilarious. The only people I know who have seen it are people I make watch it.
The Fall by Tarsem Singh. Visually stunning. Such a beautiful film.
Bernie, 2011. Dark comedy about the real-life murder of a wealthy Texas widow. Stars Jack Black.
Memphis Spell, war movie similar to Pearl Harbor but made in the 90s. Outside Providence. Typical stoner comedy flick.
Second-hand lions.
4 Lions.
Anyone who has slept with a porn star off camera, what was the experience like? It's the year 2050 and the term "okay millennial" is trending. What are the reasons the young generation is using it?
Some big catastrophic event happens. Millennials, May, The Simpsons predicted it 40 years ago. Younger gen, okay, millennial. All the generation wants to do is marry their sex robots and it's disgusting.
Back in my day a townhouse cost $600,000 and a college degree only earned you $12/hour. And everyone made fun of us saying that we were lazy and emotionally fragile, but it was the boomers' fault. Okay, millennial.
You're dead when your body dies. Period. You're not real anymore. You're just some damn digital fantasy who thinks you're still that person.
I remember the good old days when we used keyboard and mouse or a controller. Kids these days can't live a day without using brainwave controls.
We can't stop posting 90s kids memes on Instagram, which at that point is the Facebook of our generation. Okay, millennial.
When whatever smartphones become are implanted in our eyes, our generation will be like, I just like the feel of a real phone, you know.
What do people spend way too much money on?
Weddings.
Microtransactions, you goddamn whales.
When did Lego become expensive?
Eating out.
Coffee. Make that shit at home or the office, people. Save yourself a fortune.
College education.
Serious, therapists of Reddit, what's the most disturbing thing a patient has disclosed to you?
That they thought the children they raped were weak or being upset about it years later.
People with expired non-disclosure agreements, what's the juicy info you can now tell us?
Had to sign an NDA in order to reforest an artillery range that was last active in the 1920s, just in case we found some high-tech military secrets from 90 years ago.
How do you feel about a 4-day work week?
Think it makes sense. All the evidence suggests it works, and the welfare benefits would be enormous. I would probably hate Mondays less.
Provided there's no drop in salary. Fucking brilliant.
I would gladly work 4 10-hour days to have an extra day off. 2-day weekends are too short. They're gone just as soon as you start to feel comfortable.
Given that we now have more people in the workforce and supposedly more productivity because of automation, we ought to be dropping down to 32-hour weeks to compensate for the changes in our household structures.
In terms of climate change, it'd be about 20% less CO2 emissions from commuters, which is nice.
You've successfully launched Tinder, a virus that targets phones with Tinder and attempts to cock-block its users. What are some things the virus does in order to achieve this?
Says. Typing. On your match, but she never sends a message. Never.
It swaps everyone's profile picture with a picture of me.
Sends unsolicited dick pics to the men.
I have a boyfriend appears 15 seconds after the first text is sent.
Swaps commonly used words in profile descriptions with words that mean the exact opposite. Reverses the direction you need to swipe. Reboots your phone and deletes the app if you somehow manage to match.
Plays lips of an angel on an infinite loop.